has to do the same sort of thing. And there are different thresholds between the governor's, a local state of emergency, a governor's state of emergency, and a national state of emergency. And thresholds are the amount of damage. And for example, one of them is $22 million of damage in an area to be even eligible for. Well, when we start washing out roads, for example, you can eat that up pretty quick as opposed to individual homeowners and damages to their home. So if the road commission hasn't done their part, then all of those damages are not part of the equation. So trying to get some training and the word out so that we're covered. Data center. Thank you, Tom. The training is tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday. I still can't get this right. I need you as like my deputy to stop me. Wednesday, it is free MTA webinar. We all have different costs. We have free anyway, but they're all for free. We're supposed to get the sample ordinance, and it's been promised for darn near a month. It kept coming next week. We promise we'll have it before the training. Well, they met the whole team this afternoon, so I printed it off here. I will send it out to our attorney. I'll also disseminate it to the planning commission for the planning is working on. And of course, all of us can get it before we have not had a chance to read it all, other than just a very cursory view of it. It seems to be very well written, something that is a good starting point for us. Again, it's not pro or con, but it covers all the bases as far as water usage and utility usage and vibrations and all the things that people have expressed and what the requirements are for those different things. In addition to that, our insurance carrier, the car plan, is holding 3 in person in October. Training piggybacking on the MTA, the webinar, people get a chance to talk about it, maybe come up with other questions and so forth. Now, the car plan will, for our members, have a secondary, so hopefully a little bit more of a round questions and so forth. That's why it's live as opposed to a webinar. And they are being held around the state. I don't have any locations yet because we dwindled it down to 3. I guess the other thing is not really anything other than just kind of interesting. Worked on a FOIA request last week and the week before, had to do with some land that was annexed to the city of Lapeer. Often we didn't have the records, but spent some time in the dungeon, the archives, looking through old minutes from the 70s. Fascinating. And I went down and looking for my stuff there, but I kept getting sidetracked with all of the. It was during the time that we were disbanding the police department, and it was just a really good, interesting reading. So there's a lot of history down there that I guess is evident. It's too bad the public doesn't see that more often. Questions? Comments? Treasurer's report.
On Wednesday, our lake net was seeing a cedar insurance, so I did renew that at a rate of 3.93%, with choice 1. The APY is 4% for 26 weeks. Our current rate was 3.6, so it went up a little bit, and that will renew again in February. Other than that, Jackie and I compiled the rest of the reports for the audit. That's on September 2nd. We've been busy with tax bills.
Questions? Clerk's report. Planning Commission.
The meeting was canceled due to a lack of agenda. Next meeting is September 21st.
Fire Chief.
Kind of slow this month, which is a good thing because the first 7 months were busy. A lot of runs, but calmed down a little bit in August, so hopefully that pattern holds. We did joint training with Hadley last week, so if slug trucks went to Elba Township Board, because we were doing confined space training with Hadley. This Sunday, if you drive by Station 1, it's our drill day, so we'll be cutting cars up and pumping water, so there'll be a car one activity over there. And we got a pancake breakfast coming up September 13th.
Questions for Chief Burke?
Just that we took possession of the 3 trans vans on Friday. The new bus that we got this year, white bus, was a little bit different than normal. Was in the parade on Saturday, and the theme on the side is American Way.
Any questions?
Oh, and we also had our regional meeting today, so between the four transits. So we're still moving forward. This is the first of phase 2.
EMS.
Their numbers are still ahead for the year. Their budget forecast for 2027 year is underway. They're budgeted for another vehicle this year, and I think we're gonna purchase that during the last quarter. This is gonna be bringing the bids to the finance committee. And then the next round of EMS Academy starts in January, and their grant was ended, so this is gonna be the first year that you are going to have to pay. They didn't get into that, but I did read in the county press last week that it was gonna be a maximum charge of $2,500 depending on the amount of students who enrolled. And the charge will be finalized by December 28th. But they are still doing the collaboration with the ISD too.
Anybody have any questions for Kate? All right, moves us down to our agenda items. First on is a budget amendment for fire department insurance. You have in your packet $5,000 from fund balance to 206-336-865-000. And to refresh the board's memory, that is due to the additional, remember the insurance company, I guess lack of better terms, underinsured. And so we went back for a higher value of our fire apparatus, causing an increase in premiums. Discussed it with Chief Burke, and he was happy somewhat with the amount that they went up of the premium, and they allowed to go forward with that. Questions? What's the board's pleasure?
I'll make a motion to accept the budget amendment for $5,000 to line item 206-336-865.
Second.
Motion's been made and supported. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Gualdoni.
Yes.
Bales.
Yes.
Boskee.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Fountain, yes. Dreier.
Yes.
Motion has carried. Next, from Regional Management, Materials Management Plan. We can discuss this as much as what you would like, but the long and short of it is, the plan that they've been working on since 2024, they completed, it's the drafted thing. They had a previous public forum in the county commission. I know that trustee Bales and myself attended that. I've never attended a meeting, but I followed through the minutes. And basically what they have said all along in the planning is pretty well what the plan is. How does it affect Elba Township? And for those in the audience that maybe aren't aware of it, we're required by the state to have a solid waste plan. In previous years, we were partnered with Genesee County, like back in the days when the Metamora dump and GM was bringing the stuff over here. We no longer partner with them. Every county has to have a solid waste committee. Through the dialogue, we partnered up with Tuscola, Huron, and Sanilac County for working together in a collaborative. So in other words, not everybody has to have a landfill, not everybody has to have all the different things. The mandate from the state was to increase the amount of recycling substantially in all of the different counties. Don't quote me on this because I'm just giving you a brief synopsis on those, but I think Lapeer County had a recycling rate of like 9%, 11%, something like that. And we have to,
It was like 6.75. And they want everybody up to like 40.
but we have to have 30, I think, by 2035. So how do we accomplish that? And they did all of the different recycling that is available in Lapeer County. So for example, the city of Lapeer gives credit for vegetative recycling because they have the leaf pickup. Rick Ryan does the waste in the city of Lapeer. Rick Ryan offers curbside recycling. Everybody offers it. That's a feather in the cap for the city of Lapeer. Side note, Rick Ryan is the only one, all of the waste haulers in Lapeer County that offer that. Do you have my phone? It's my wife.
Call me out. No, everybody.
Thank you, Mrs. Boskee.
That's how much your ad is gone.
Does
No wonder
everybody,
you weren't answering me, no.
does everybody understand how important this is in my life?
That's why I thought maybe you did it.
Why did you answer me?
I was gonna say, hello, is it public time?
Okay. So at the end of the day, and different counties have different levels of recycling. For example, Tuscola County has already had a countywide recycling program for over a decade, and a couple decades. And so they came down with what each county has to do in order to be compliant. In Lapeer County, we have to come up with 5 additional recycling centers. So what we have already in our inventory, whether it's Deerfield or North Lapeer Recycling, whether it's Jim's Recycling, whether it's the city of Lapeer, all those different ones that they did their inventory of through this whole process, we have to come up with 5 new ones. That's in the plan in order to be compliant. The way this works is all of the municipalities, the townships, the cities, the villages, in those counties that I listed, all have to vote on this plan. 67% of the people who vote, the townships that vote, have to approve it. Then they would take that vote total plus the plan, send it to Lansing. Lansing would hopefully, and it's Lansing, so I'm saying hopefully, would sign off on that and say, yes, this is a compliant plan, and you are now covered. In the plan that is proposed, each municipality and the county would work together to determine where those centers would go and what they would do. Everybody with me so far? If 67% of the municipalities don't approve it, we send the vote total with our plan to Lansing, and Lansing says, in a nutshell, you guys couldn't get your act together, so therefore Lansing will decide where the recycling centers go, and they don't have to go through the local review site plans. They just seize control of it. That's it in a nutshell. So they have now officially adopted the plan. They're to that stage there. The materials committee has adopted the plan. Now they have a public comment period that started August 3rd and runs through Friday, October 2nd. So we have to vote on this, or I guess we don't vote on it, and we're one of the non-67. But that's the end all. And then that's when this material management advisory committee sends in their plan. You can email your correspondence, your comments, you can send it snail mail, or they are having another public hearing on September 16th at Biagio's Pizza at 5795 Sand Lake Road in Kingston. So if you want to go and offer your comments, concerns, or ask questions to a live person, then that would be the place to do it. If you want to view the plan, draft plan is available, public inspection online at tuscolacounty.org/recycling/mmpc.php. Anybody here in the audience who want a copy of it, get a hold of me in the township here, I'll copy one for you. I'll go through all that. So, board, questions, comments? I'm in no way, shape, or form saying we need to act on this. I wouldn't advise it. Considering, we didn't meet last month, we didn't have enough people, so Majority of you are seeing this for the first time. Never catch your hat. So think about it, delve it over, ask questions, attend this public hearing if you so desire, and then we will act on this prior to that October 2nd meeting. So. Questions? Comments? Great. I just wanted that not in correspondence, but as an actual agenda item, so that we could discuss and public could also hear. Next is the 2026 Veteran Tombstone Cleaning Project. You have in your packet a group, what was it? It was the Veterans Historical Society. Anyway, they want to volunteer. What is it?
Genealogical Society.
There you go. They want to volunteer their time to clean some tombstones at Bird Cemetery. Remember, we hired that in the past. Very cautious about that because there's a right way and wrong way to do it. They included their procedures, what they use, the chemicals, everything, which is up to snuff. They have already done cleaning in Greenwood Cemetery, which is the other township cemetery that is jointly owned with Hadley. So I have no issues with anything that is presented. It's a volunteer. We're getting the historical markers and cleaned properly. There's no cost to the township. If I remind you that we had paid for that previously, so it's a good deal. What's the board's pleasure?
Since it's voluntary, do we have to make a motion to let them do it?
Well, again, I'm not the city of Lapeer. I will just go and say, yes, you can do this. The board action, so the township-owned facility, so.
No.
You guys are all a part of this, so, if somebody has a issue with it, I don't want to do it, and then you say, how come this didn't come to the board, with these people in here, so. I mean, it can be board consensus, it doesn't need to be a motion, but.
I think just the board consensus would be enough.
Board consensus, be good with it?
Yes.
Anybody have a problem with it? Great, I will notify them. Okay, next, Potter Lake Sewer User Fee Review. Similar to what we started years ago with Lake Nipsey, start to review the rates and just the overall operations and maintenance of Potter's Lake. My pack is all out of whack because we have a couple of agendas. Yeah, so like there's two of the ones in there. So anyway, so Potter's Lake Sewer System. I guess a little brief synopsis. Unlike, do we have anybody here from Potter's Lake? Okay, it's going to be even briefer. This is a much different system than Lake Nelson. We don't have lagoons. We don't have all the grinder pumps. The ops and maintenance, there's a whole lot more streamlined with this. We have an outstanding bond for that. That was for the phase 2 of the system. We're in our last year of paying for it. Hallelujah. That's the good news. The bad news is we don't have a whole lot of money to do the paying for it. And since there's not really anybody from Potter's Lake to really go over this, I'm going to make this even briefer. We currently have, and I'm not getting into the change, but we currently have in the bank for Potter's Lake $111,626. We can get into whether that's a big amount or a small amount, and I'm happy to explain that to the board if so choose. We have a bond payment, first due November this year, of $3,196.88. Not a big deal. We have, and that's the interest, the last major bond payment, principal, is due in May of $155,000. What I said, we have to make 111. That being said, the bond payments, the special assessment district, where people are paying into the main line, we are anticipating collecting approximately, because early payoffs, which was one of the problems, this went online, downturn the economy, the banks required payoff of the bond as part of their mortgage. So a good majority of the people in phase 2 never paid any interest or anything. The bond went online July 1st, 2009. In 2010, 2011, people started paying off the exact amount. So we weren't collecting 20 years worth of interest, which didn't help the situation. Then phase 1, which was under control of the drain commissioner, he very artfully twisted our arm, and we took over phase 1. The previous drain commissioner, 2 drain commissioners, had built that project and never charged any ops and maintenances in all those years. So when it was turned over to us, phase 1, we had 0 money to pay. So now we have control of phase 1 and phase 2, and the only money that we have set aside from the bond things was phase 2, which was ours. But we have much less of it because of the early payoffs on payments in the mortgage industry. So 111 in the bank, we're going to owe 161,393. Coming in,
Almost 3,000.
no, that is, it's 155 and then 3,000. It's 161.
161 was going to be that at 3,000.
Yeah, 3,000, 3,100.
Okay.
In November of this year, and then 161,393 next May. Right? And we have 111,000 in the bank. Special assessment district, we're going to take in approximately, that's the bond payment, 59,943. Ops and maintenance, what they pay per year, that's annual, not like the NFC, is $98,550. You total the 2 of those, we come up with, plus in the bank, $270,119. So we have money there. The problem that this board is going to deal with is that money going to be there in May? And I'm just forewarning you that it's entirely possible that this board is going to have to float a loan to the Lake Nepson system, or the Potter Lake, similar to what we've done in previous years with the Lake Nepson system, in order for those monies to come in. That's the problem with the bond payment where we're at financially there. The other is how much should the ops and maintenance cost? We're not going to have any bond payment in the future, so we don't have that to worry about anymore. But we're also not going to have the $50,000 that's coming in off the payoff of that. So what should the rates be? If you look, and I went back January of 2025, and we spend on average $3,554 a month to Genesee County. That's where the stuff goes to be treated. We have had a couple of astronomical ones here in the past year. One of them, we had a retention-detention pond that was directly connected to the sewer system. So in the past year and a half, we've had a $6,000, an $8,000, and a $9,900 bill, which all factored into that $3,500. Then on top of that, we have electric. We have our mission controls, which is the call out, and $600 a month is the maintenance for the new automated meters and do the AM test and so forth on lift stations. Small potatoes compared to the Genesee County.
Last year's ops and maintenance and payroll was just shy of $70,000.
Was
71,000.
70,000.
Now, the other caveat with that is the amount of, where we really take it on the chin is with the generators. The emergency call-outs. Everybody in Lapeer County, but Elba Township, is painfully aware of the power outages. There's 3 legs lights into Elba Township, like on in Sun Lake. We had 38 documented power outages in 1 year. We went to the second leg on Lake Nepsing, and we had the Lake Nepsing system was taken on the chin because every time we get a power outage, we have the standby generators. The big difference there is Lake Nepsing owns its generator, Bonds Lake doesn't. So when we have the power outages there, we got the rental generator, and of course have people on call. That's substantial. We have numerous. Anybody who reads the social media thing, and we had the village of Elba is out again. No power. Well, that's our Lake Nepsing, Potter's Lake sewer district as well. So that will all correct itself when DT finally works through that and gets that lake upgraded. But we've taken it on the chin for the last 2 years. Questions to this point? I don't know that we need to make a decision on rates tonight. Keep in mind, unlike the Lake Nepsing, that their bills are quarterly. Potter's Lake is an annual bill because it was constructed under the drain code, so they have no alternative of that. They get an annual bill, and a lot of people do that in their escrow accounts, and we need to have ample time for the residents to plan for that escrow change if there's going to be one. And I would get into a whole lot more with having Potter's Lake residents here.
If it's going to take effect for this year, it needs to be done in October.
So,
So it's going to be set back.
and if you recall, I don't know what it is with the postal system, but if you recall when we did this meeting last year, we sent out the notices for the meeting, and I had to hand deliver probably 15 of them because they came back as undeliverable, no address, and I'm knocking on doors and delivering it. So if we get even a mailer to somebody, to all the households, which would be a bad idea. Wouldn't be surprised if we have the same thing happen again. How long I'm handling it.
I think if we do another mailer, we need to let them know that this is annual. So we're not gonna annually keep sending these out, but that,
We do. Yeah, we do. We same as Lake Nepsing. We say this is your annual, and on their bills we send this out. This is, and we don't deviate. The night meeting in July is Lake Nepsing, the night meeting in August is
oh, so
Potter's
it's
Lake.
on their bills.
Yes.
I know about it.
Yes.
I got it in December, so you had correct,
Yeah.
Still, but to get nobody, that's kind of shocking.
Well, I think when we did it last year, we did the mailer and everything else, we had like 7 people.
Right.
So.
I think as long as it's on the bill itself, it's letting them know.
Anybody have any thoughts, concerns, questions, otherwise?
How much does mailing cost us last time? Something else.
I couldn't even begin to, there's 300, so.
It was 201, and then it was, I think last year was 75.
Yeah.
or something.
So, envelope, postage.
But that gets billed back to the fund, right?
Yeah, it's like not there.
That they've already been possibly short.
Sure, we're thinking about $500.
So, it was on their bill. I just would hate to tack on another, bill to them. So, if we wouldn't have put it on their bill, I would say we need to send them out. I just would hate to keep putting backwards. I know it's only $100, but still.
And that's why we don't deviate from year to year. It's the last meeting in July is Lake Nepsing, last meeting in August is Potter's Lake. All right. We'll move on. Terrorism insurance coverage. So, I know this got quite the online discussion, I had some emails. This was, we're insured by the power plant, Michigan Township Participating Plan. They are insured or underwritten by Tokyo Marine HCC. Our plan, small potatoes, nothing in the insurance world. Tokyo Marine is the second largest insurer in the world. They have other insurance companies. One of them is U.S. Casualty. When you pay your premiums, and everybody's aware of this, whether it's your Visa or DirecTV, you agree to our information, your information being shared with our sister agency. U.S. Casualty sent us a unsolicited quote for terrorism. In a nutshell, you would have to be an idiot to buy this. I say that as a board member of the power plant. Our board is saying to our members, don't buy this. Terrorism, in order for it to qualify, the President of the United States has to determine this is a terrorist event for this coverage to kick in. So I don't care what you want to say. The angry mob comes in and burns us to the ground. A drone goes off and blows up the township hall. Whatever the case may be. If it's determined to be a terrorist event, then this insurance would kick in and cover that. Well, the question is, what happens if we don't have this? How's the coverage? Well, the insurance you have already covers it. So why would we ever, this is just another one of those riders, $255. We're covered under our normal property insurance. If the angry mob burns us to the ground, a plane crashes into our building, whatever the case may be. So, what's the board's pleasure with purchasing this terrorism rider from U.S. Casualty?
Do you need a motion or
I would
consensus?
love a motion, because I'm going to take this to my next board meeting about this unsolicited. And again, the power plant, who is our insurance carrier, is telling the members not to buy this. So,
I'll make a motion to decline the offer for extra insurance for terrorism.
do we have support? Motion's been made and supported to deny the terrorism coverage request. All in favor of the motion, signify by aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Brings us down to public time. Anybody wishes to speak? State your name and have at it.
Good evening, my name is Maureen Saleko, and I am a candidate for District Court Judge. I have been a Lapeer County resident for 30 years. I reside in Elba Township with my husband John, where we have raised our 3 sons. I have been a practicing attorney for 20 years. I began my practice in private practice, primarily handling family law and criminal defense. I'm a former assistant prosecuting attorney. I have been with Lapeer County now for 11 years. I began as the juvenile referee and probate registrar. For the last 6 years, I have been the district court magistrate and trial court administrator. As the district court magistrate, I handle all beginning cases for criminal cases, beginning with search warrants, arrest warrants, arraigning individuals charged with either a misdemeanor or felony, setting their bond. I also handle small claims cases, informal hearings, so if someone receives a ticket and they would like to challenge it, they can come before myself. As a trial court administrator, I oversee all 3 courts, the probate court, the circuit court, and the district court. I oversee their day-to-day operations, making sure everything is running properly. I work hand in hand with the state court or whatever needs to be done for the courts. I handle the budget for all 3 of the courts also. I believe with my experience, it allows me to understand what the district court judge needs to do. I've been on the bench again for 6 years. I'm handling the cases right now. It will be not an easy transition, but a transition that I believe I'll be able to make as the judge, since I am handling so much of this currently. I'm honored to be endorsed and supported by Judge Barnard, Judge Hodges, Judge McCarthy, Judge Nolan, and retired Judge Scott. Thank you.
Thank you. Real quick, are you going to be in your office tomorrow afternoon?
I am not. I have a doctor's appointment and then I have a fundraiser tomorrow.
When this week are you?
Wednesday, Thursday.
Wednesday, Thursday, okay.
And a half day Friday. And a half day Friday, I'll be there tomorrow.
I need to get some, our ordinances entered into Clemens.
And I do that too.
She's the only one that does it.
I'm the only one who does it. Yes, absolutely. Just let me know and I'll come on by and I'll get a measure in for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Yes.
Susan Hoff, Metamora, Elba, wherever I might land. And I just wanted to take a minute to thank our treasurer, Katie Terry. At the last evening meetings, I guess it was July, I had some concerns about the PLM treatment notifications, et cetera, at Lake Nipissing. And within a couple of days, I had a message from Katie. She found me on Facebook and sent me a message and updated me on a conversation she had had with the PLM rep and gave me more information. And I really appreciated that she went that extra mile and did that. So thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Mike Ivory, 492 Forest Street Road. I just wondered if the township has anything about board members missing meetings. They called the supervisor in an excused absence. I got one gentleman up here, his last meeting was on April 13th. That's 9 meetings that he's missed out. If you're unable to do your duty, what do you do next? A few years ago before that, it was 9 months and he wasn't here. And are they still getting paid for when they're not here? Because it's not very efficient use of the township's money if they're still getting paid and not being here.
Anyone else? Hearing none, we'll close public time. So I guess the only one the answer is yours, and they're elected officials. It's not like a normal job where one of us is someone else's boss, and and as far as the are they still being paid? Yes, by statute. There's no requirement. There's nothing in this board can't change that. And with that, we go to the agenda. So I will declare the meeting adjourned.
Thank you.